The YouTube Gaming Video Guide is available now. Use this learning resource to learn all about video editing, video recording, 3D modeling, visual effects composition, film and video history, and everything else you need to get started creating YouTube videos. There is currently a 90% discount coupon in the description of this video, so grab your copy of the guide right now. How's it going, guys? It's the final render here, and welcome back to Dark Souls. I've actually got a bit of a different Dark Souls video for you guys today, because when I recorded this video, I had lots and lots of technical issues. Everything pretty much broke hardware-wise for me to go ahead and record videos on a single day. I tried to record maybe 4 or 5 different videos. Nothing really worked. So therefore, I am now doing this afterwards. I'm talking to you guys in post, and I'm watching the video back through. So it might actually be quite relaxing to go ahead and do this Dark Souls video without actually playing it live. You won't actually have the hilarious reactions and stuff like that, but if I play to you guys what the audio sounded like because everything was breaking, you'd understand. Take a listen to this. No idea where I'm going right now, as you'd probably guess. This leads to the item. That leads to the item that was right at the start. Large soul of a proud knight worth 3,000 souls. I will take it, kind sir. Thank you very much. And I think you guys can agree that that is not enjoyable to watch, so therefore I'm coming to you guys in post-production. So if you guys remember that in the end of the last video, we actually went ahead down into the bed of chaos and defeated the Lost Witch of Izalith, which was a very annoying battle. Many people say that it's actually probably the most annoying battle in Dark Souls, really. And I actually agree, you know, because it's very cheap. And it's just one of those things where you've just got to die a few times just because it just kind of naturally happens. You didn't die because you were bad, it just sort of has to happen in a way. So, that's a shame. But anyways, I've got to go ahead and use the Firekeeper Soul, which I've been carrying for ages to go ahead and reinforce my Estus Flask. So now we've got a much more powerful flask, which means we'll get more healing. And of course, in this video, it is time to go and take on the final Lord of the Land, and that is, of course, Gravelord Nito. Gravelord Nito is actually my favourite boss battle in the game, just because I love the design of him. He looks so menacing and so cool at the same time. So in order to get there, down to the catacombs, we have got to walk back to Firelink Shrine, go all the way down to the bottom of the catacombs, and then enter the Tomb of the Giants, which is a pretty interesting area. Very dark, very nasty, but all will be good indeed-a-rooney. Okay, so it might actually be quite nice to do a video like this, because it means I can just kind of relax and chill, you know? Dark Souls and chill, that's something which I'm going to be coining on the internet now, and everyone is going to be using it. Everyone is going to be doing their Dark Souls and chill videos, and it's going to be fantastic. Single people can do it, couples can do it, everyone can do it. It is going to be absolutely fantastic indeed. Okay, and also another thing to note with the hardware failing is that it was an absolute nightmare to go ahead and get this footage back, because the footage came out at like 10 frames a second, but I was actually able to go into all of the original files before it was converted and stuff like that and extract the 60 frames a second footage. Because obviously if you record in 60, and then the Elgato software which I use typically exports it out as an MP4, but in this case it was actually giving it at a very low frame rate rather than the initial frame rate. So I went and got the very maximum quality raw file to go ahead and use. So it's a huge video file, but it means we've actually got the 60 frames a second back, which is absolutely fantastic. Alright, so entering the catacombs now, we have obviously got the exploding head things, and of course all of the skeletons, and the skeletons actually aren't that bad, because since we've already been here, we've actually been able to take out all the necromancers, so they don't respawn, which is fantastic. There you go, just get that one for an extra piece. The thing about the necromancers is that once they're dead forever, so you don't have to worry about them once you've actually taken them out once, and that's fantastic. There is another way to kill the skeletons without actually killing the necromancers as well. I never actually mentioned this when we were down here last time, but I believe if you have a voice crack and then you use a divine weapon, rather than just using a regular old weapon, the skeletons will not respawn. So if you have a divine weapon, then you can actually go ahead and massacre all these skeletons without having to worry about the necromancer, which is absolutely fantastic indeed, because they're real annoying. It's a nice gameplay touch, but it is pretty annoying, especially the first time you come down here. Oh god, and you have no idea what's going on. All the skeletons just keep coming back for no reason. So, since they're dead, we don't have to worry about them. We will obviously be using an awful lot of the shortcuts to get down to the Tomb of the Giants, because the catacombs, you could pretty much drop down to the very bottom of the catacombs and skip almost all of it. You really can. Like, You might actually have to play through it probably your first time, because you've got to open like some levers and stuff like that to make some of the platforms you need to land on be available. But realistically, once you've done that, you can just pretty much get to the bottom of the catacombs easy. And of course we are using the Gravelord Greatsword, and the Gravelord Greatsword is definitely my favourite weapon, because it just deals such raw damage. Look at that, like one big-handed swing and that killed that skeleton, and that was one-handed. So that is pretty darn powerful. It's not the best sword in the world, especially if you want to do New Game Plus, because since it's a demon weapon, it really does not scale very well. I think it's got like a D in strength, so it's not ideal if you want to do New Game Plus, but if you're just playing it through for the first time, it's actually a very good sword to do. Like, we'll pretty much end up using this sword till the end of the game, pretty much. Okay, so right here I'm accessing the secret bonfire, just in case I kind of mess up with some of the rolls and stuff like that. It means I don't have to go all the way back to the very top of the catacombs. I can kind of start halfway, which is very nice indeed. Alright, some other news on the channel. Obviously, the other day we completed the Papers, Please playthrough. Very interesting to actually go back to that, because I recorded Papers, Please, I'm going to say back in January, maybe February, and I actually never went back to it because I had a lot of trouble with the audio files on it, because there were such huge, long sections of Let's Play. A lot of the audio went out of sync and stuff like that, but now it actually means I can go ahead and just kind of go in manually and actually fix the audio. It took a very long time to get it right, and there might be some sections which are wrong, but obviously now we have completed the Let's Play. And Papers, Please was an absolutely fantastic game. I highly recommend you go and check out the Let's Play, because it was all recorded over 2 days, that entire Let's Play. The first part was on one day, and then the second day I did the rest of the game, all in one sitting, which was absolutely great fun to do. And it meant I've just had this footage sitting on one of my hard drives for months and months. I always told myself, if I'm in a pinch and hardware isn't working, I'll go ahead and edit those, because then I can still upload something. And that's what I ended up doing. And also, in other words, in other news, I'm actually working on a new episode of Building with Mods. I'm actually doing the Museum of Freedom, if you are interested. I've had requests for that quite a lot, and I'm actually doing that in the creation kit. I'm basically going around and restoring it back to something pretty, so to speak. And it's an interesting choice to go ahead and do it that way, because I wanted to just go ahead and make it a base, but then I thought pretty much every single texture in the Museum of Freedom has a clean variant to use, so I decided to do that, and that should be up, oh, I don't know, maybe a week and a half, a week's time, something like that. Okay, so now I am about to enter the Tomb of the Giants, and the Tomb of the Giants is pitch black down here. You've got a little bit of light coming off your body naturally, however, it's very hard to see. It's very hard to walk around indeed. You've got to be very slow, and there are lots of very tough enemies in here. But, if you remember, we actually went and got an item, a helmet, or a helm, called the Sunlight Maggot, and this is the helmet which actually drove Solaire insane. And we are actually going to be using that helmet in this section, because as you can see, can hardly see anything. Pitch black, absolutely terrible. But if we go ahead and equip the Sunlight Maggot right here, this emits an awful lot of light, as you can see. And now you can see maybe 3 times as far as you could. There are other ways you can actually get extra light. You can use an item called the Skull Lantern, which we do get later on in this video, so we can actually demonstrate that. I already have some, of course, but they're in the bottomless box rather than in my inventory, so I couldn't demonstrate it straight away. But if you look over there, you can see a giant skeleton. And the giant skeletons, they're nothing new, but as you can see, without the Sunlight Maggot, you can just see his eyes poke in there. And the thing about this area also is that they have very short sight, so you have to get very close to them before they actually attack you. But they're actually no different to the regular skeletons that we dealt with up top, for example. The only difference is they have a bit more life and do a little bit more damage. But if you go ahead and two-hand your weapons, such as this greatsword, we can deal with them in 2 swipes. But the only issue is that there's quite a few of them down here, and they just sit and hide in the darkness, so it can be very hard to go ahead and see them. But if you've got something like a voice crack, if you've got the Sunlight Maggot, then you should be able to go ahead and see them and dispatch them fairly easily, which is good. There are some sections where you get 2-on-1, and that can be quite difficult, especially in this area where you've got very narrow ledges to walk across. But if it's just one at a time, then it's really no trouble at all, really. At this stage of the game, you should be able to deal with pretty much all of the enemies down here. No trouble, really. Like, okay, they do a lot of damage, but if you're paying attention, then everything should be good. There are also a lot of skeleton archers up here, And they actually have very big arrows. Look at those arrows right there. Those arrows are about 6 foot long. So, very powerful bow. As you can see, he's currently down below me. However, you can just dodge their arrows very easily. And the kind of way to navigate around the Tomb of the Giants is that, as you saw, I just kind of slid down a big kind of concrete ramp. And that's kind of how you get lower. It's how you get down. Crisscross can make you get down, get down. Oh, that was terrible. I'm sorry. Apparently, I'm not as enthusiastic as I normally am when I'm doing things in post. One of the reasons why I actually started doing lots more live stuff, pretty much everything that wasn't building with mods has been live. I feel as if it's because when I'm doing stuff live, I'm actually a bit more enthusiastic. You know, I tend to think of jokes quicker, I tend to be a bit sharper, stuff like that, because since I'm focusing on the game and trying to win, it actually means I'm just naturally a bit sharper. So if I sound a bit bored in this video, I apologise. I'm not bored, I'm actually quite enjoying myself. It's quite relaxing, you know, just sit back in my chair, chilling out, enjoying some Dark Souls. But that's just because I'm not doing it live if I sound a little bit slower sometimes. Okay, so now we're going to descend down this next big ramp here. There is an item over there, I believe we do get that in a minute. And now we meet a very interesting NPC, which I believe is a recurring character in the Dark Souls series. This is Patches the hyena.
Good day. You look reasonably sane. What are you doing in the catacombs? Are you a cleric or something?
Am I a cleric or something? No, I am not a cleric. And don't answer yes, because this guy hates clerics.
Really? Then I'd have no qualms telling you. There's a fine stash of treasure right down that hole. I found it first. But, well, we're friends now. So I'll split it with you. In any case, have a look. It'll shimmer you blind.
Well, he doesn't sound too nice, does he? Especially with that evil laugh. So, we're not actually going to go take a look there first. We are actually going to go around this corner. And we're going to go explore and get some new items, of course. Because there are quite a few good items, mostly soul items down in the catacombs. So we'll go ahead and grab a load of those. There is an archer up there. And I actually don't know how to deal with him. I don't know how to get up there to kill him. But there probably is a way. There probably is like a certain ledge you can jump off or something to deal with him. And listen, right there, an illusionary wall just appeared, which is unusual because I didn't actually hit it with my sword or anything. I have no idea what triggered that. Maybe an arrow or something for one of the archers hit that. Okay, so here we have one of the archers. In fact, we're getting attacked by two sides, but there is also a skeleton with a sword. So, logic would dictate, kill the guy with the sword first. He's going to give you most trouble. And then you can very quickly and easily go ahead and dispatch the next archer. And the archers are slow. Like, they do have a physical attack right in front of you. They've got kind of a stamp attack that they do. You know, kind of going all Edward Norton and curb stomping on you right there. Was it Edward Norton who did the curb stomp in American History X? I think so. I think so. Very good film, actually. Very good film. I enjoy it. I only saw it once, but I really enjoyed it. But anyways, as you can see, there is an item down there, which we're going to go ahead and grab. But there are two skeletons up here as well. So let's just quickly go ahead and grab that. Large soul of a proud knight, I believe that was, worth 1,000 souls. Not bad. And we actually gone ahead and took some damage there. So let's go ahead and heal up. And then we can go and deal with the two skeletons that are up on this section as well. Do I go and deal with them now? See, that's another problem with doing it live. I forget what I was actually doing and stuff. I might actually be heading back to the bonfire that's down here. There is a bonfire just over here. There it is right there. You can just see on the left of the screen. So I imagine I probably wanted to use that bonfire before going ahead and taking out those enemies up there. Okay, so go ahead and rest up at this bonfire. There you go. There you go. There are two bonfires, I believe, down in the Tomb of the Giants, one of which is a secret one. And we actually do find that, I believe, but I do miss it originally, because I knew there was an extra one down here, but I never actually worked out how to get there until this playthrough. So breaking news, people, Final Render learned something new, and he definitely needs to do that. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and take out those skeletons up top, which is fantastic. But, of course, since we rested at the bonfire, it means those guys we killed earlier right up here, it means they're back, of course, but that's no worry. That's no real trouble at all. We can go ahead and dispatch these guys, no trouble. Especially if you knock them off the ledge like that. Okay, so maybe I should probably do some talk on the channel and stuff like that, and how things are going. I'm pretty happy with the way things are going. Like, things could be better with the channel, obviously. Growth is actually very low with the channel. I remember when we had the 1 year anniversary, I was sitting on 35,000 subscribers, I want to say. 35, something like that. And my goal was that after the second year I wanted to be on 70,000, but looking at the way things are going, that ain't gonna happen, you know, because I've only gained like maybe 2,000, 3,000, something like that since that time, and pretty much every time I upload a video, I lose subscribers. So that's really sucky. I have no idea why that is. I'm not sure if I'm just doing something wrong, or if it was just that I am losing with guys who only wanted Fallout 4 content. But I have told myself I am going to do more Fallout 4 content, because really I suppose the biggest mistake with the channel was that I obviously decided to stop doing building with mods, and I stopped doing it for a very long time. You know, I stopped doing it for like 4 or 5 months, something like that. So I think I did one in the middle of that, but anyways. And really it was probably the bad way to go. I shouldn't have cut it off completely. I should have just made it less so, because I was just immensely bored of making building with mods. And the biggest problem with it was that there just weren't any new building mods. There weren't any. Like, even now, you know, you can go ahead and go onto the Nexus, and you don't really find any. You know, like, the only ones that have been worthwhile are like 7 months old now. So, very hard to actually make enthusiastic content about building mods when there really aren't any. But, you know, I've kind of decided that instead of trying to focus on promoting new mods, because there aren't really any, it's just going to be about me creating whatever it is I want to create. And that's also one of the reasons why I'm doing the Museum of Freedom. And of course, that it also means it'll be downloadable and stuff. So it means it can also go onto the Nexus and Bethesda.net. And whenever I did a building with a mods video and I put it onto Bethesda.net, it would typically get an awful lot more views, because obviously you can embed videos in there. So it meant that they would get more views that way as well. So now I'm going to go ahead and enter a pretty cool area. I believe I enter it now. And it is kind of inside this giant tomb, which I'm currently standing above. Yep, looks like I'm going down. And this area has an ember in here. I want to say it's a great divine ember, something like that, so you can make divine weapons. But there are maybe 6 of the giant skeletons in here in a completely enclosed space. You can just about see one on screen, and there's one right over there. You can just see his hand kind of being backlit by that item over there. So there's a huge amount of them. In fact, some of them are actually right below me now, trying to hit me, even though I'm way high up, because the AI isn't perfect. What can I say? Okay, so now I'm just basically going to go ahead and pull as many of these skeletons towards me as I possibly can. So, because since I'm up high, it means I can do a descending drop attack down onto all these skeletons. I believe I have pulled pretty much all these skeletons. There's like 6 below me right now. And get ready with the jumping strike, 2-hand it. And boom! There we go. Okay, so I've probably killed like 4 or 5 of them in that one strike, but there are quite a few left. There's 2 left. 3 left even, one of which is half dead. He is now fully dead. Well, I suppose he's dead again, you know, since he's a skeleton. And they do have quite a long reach, really, but really you don't really get to see that long reach too often, because you're normally fighting them in very closed environments. So you pretty much have to dispatch them straight away before they do their really long-ranged attacks. Alright, so go ahead and heal up. I nearly died there. Just dodge his blade right there. Okay, so let's go ahead and get rid of this guy now. He's starting to get on my nerves. Even watching this guy is getting on my nerves. There we go. Now they're all dead. That's actually a very tough area if you're not expecting that many skeletons to be down there. Alright, so let's pillage this. Large Divine Ember, yes. Again, Divine Embers, I believe, do extra damage to things that are dead, especially skeletons, and it stops them being revived if there is a necromancer around. And I think I've only got 1 divine weapon currently. I think it's like the I want to say that Solare's sword is a divine weapon, but I might be completely wrong about that. I'm not too sure. Okay, so that area is now dealt with, but that actually is a pretty decent area to go down. Not only do you get an ember, but you also get 5,000 souls. And of course, those skeletons actually do give you souls as well. So it's good to go down there, kill all of those guys, get the extra souls, and grab those items also. Okay, I think now, really, it's probably time to go ahead and see what patches the hyena wants. If you remember, that was the NPC that we met not too long ago. And as I said, I believe he is a recurring character in the Dark Souls series. And he might just be in Demon Souls. I might be wrong about that. Oh yeah, if you look over there, like I just actually went through that illusory wall that we opened up accidentally. And that's just a way to get back up here, because you do have to descend quite far down, and you need to get back up, and that ladder I just went down is the way to get back up. So, glad I found that. I now know the way to get back, and it obviously leads right back to the bonfire, which is fantastic. Okay, we can nearly level up actually, so I believe I go ahead and use some soul items. Indeed I do, so we go ahead and pop some of the soul items we've got so we can level up a little bit. Because I really, at this stage of the game, I very much doubt I'm going to be buying stuff anymore. There really isn't anything I really need to buy. And there isn't really anything I need to upgrade either. Like, I could upgrade my armor and my shields and stuff a little bit. But besides that, I probably don't really need to buy anything. So pretty much any souls we get now, we can put straight into leveling. Currently a level 78, which is... it's alright, I suppose. Like, I believe when I completed the game on my very first run, without doing any of the DLC, I think I was at level 96, something like that. So, let's go and see what Patches the Hyena wants us to see. He wants us to look over this edge to look at all the treasure down there. Indeed, there are some items down there, but nothing could go wrong with this, right? Nothing at all, I'm sure. Oh, there we go. Patches, you mean, mean bully.
This is what I do, my friend. The trinkets I'll be stripping off your corpse, that's the treasure.
What an absolute bully. Okay, so yeah, that's this guy's MO. What he does is that he tricks you and makes you fall down into holes so that you get killed by monsters or you die in the fall, and then he takes all of your treasure. In fact, you can encounter him in the catacombs the first time you go there. In fact, it's pretty common. He's pretty much right on the way. However, I believe I accidentally used a shortcut, so we didn't actually get to see him. And look, this is the skull lantern I was talking about. This is the skull lantern I was talking about. You basically use it like a shield, and then you can actually get some more light. However, since we have the sunlight maggot, because we dealt with the demon ruins first, then it means we actually have a much easier time down here, because it means we can actually use our shield still. Okay, so let's take a look around here, and we meet a character we have already seen down in Firelink Shrine. This is the woman who is also undead, and she's being protected by some clerics to basically do the exact same mission as you. She wants to link the fires. And the knights actually brought her down here. However, do you remember those knights that were guarding her were starting to go hollow? You know, they were starting to go like and lose their speech. Well, now they have gone hollow.
Hello. Are you? Thank goodness. Please be careful. There are two fierce hollows not far from here. They were once brave knights, my former escorts. Who would let such strong spirits be hollowed so? Heavens, is there nothing at all to be done?
Well, there is something, of course, we can do with these hollows. And now, these two cleric knights, they are actually right to the back. And I believe, to do with the law, the clerics actually always want to stop anyone linking the fire. I believe their kind of goal is to just keep things going naturally, which is obviously bad. So now, let's go ahead and deal with these guys. There is two of them. One's got an axe and the other one has got a mace. And of course they do have miracles, such as that blast back one right there. And they even have heal miracles. However, you can actually parry these guys and backstab them pretty easily. Just, for God's sake, do me a favour. Don't accidentally hit the woman. Don't do that. I have no idea if anything bad happens, but I'm willing to assume it's probably not a good idea. So there we go. We go ahead and get the parry on that dude. And now they are both dead. I don't really think you get anything for killing them. Yeah, you get 1,000 souls, which really isn't that great. But hey, let's go and talk to the woman again.
You banished those two hollows, did you? It pains me to think of the trouble my failings have caused. I am certain that both Vince and Nico are grateful to you. Thank you so very much. Here, these belonged to them. You deserve them more than I.
So there we go. We've also got a replenishment miracle for saving her.
Thank you.
I believe there is another way you can do it, to where you can actually get some extra items as well. I think you've got to be in a certain covenant or something like that in order to do that, but I could be wrong about that. Okay, so the replenishment miracle we just got is actually a pretty good miracle. It's very similar to the heal miracle, except rather than giving you a bunch of life every time you use it, it slowly heals you over about 2 minutes. And it's very good if you're being poisoned, for example, because it means you can just pop that miracle and it will kind of counteract the poison the exact right amount so that you don't actually lose any health. And of course also, I believe if you wear the symbol of Aravis, which is that helmet, which looks like the mimic head, if you're wearing that, you actually slowly lose life. But if you use that miracle, then it counteracts it perfectly, so you don't actually lose any life. So it means you can wear that helmet as much as you want. And we've just got a white Titanite chunk. I believe that is for upgrading divine weapons, or maybe lightning weapons, something like that. And if you look over there, we have now got some new enemies. We saw them very briefly earlier. I don't know what these are called, but, you know, they're kind of, giant skeleton totem pole things. Maybe totem skeletons, shall we call them that? Totem skeletons? I think that's a pretty good name. And they are very slow. However, they do have quite powerful attacks. However, their reach is very short, and they are very slow, and they don't take much damage either. So, you can dispatch these guys pretty easily. However, their kind of plan is to surround you and trap you. So, make sure you don't get cornered by multiple ones. You might have a hard time if that happens. But besides that, they're fairly easy to deal with, and since their range is pretty short, you can deal with them quite easily if you've got a ranged weapon like a spear. However, they do have that fall down attack we just saw, and that's probably their only real range, really, if they fall down and land directly on you, which did actually do quite a bit of damage. It took me for half my life. So, that's sucky, but oh well. We got a heal miracle, so we can go and level up no trouble. I might actually see if I can upgrade the extra attunement I need to also get the replenishment miracle. That might actually be quite helpful, really. Just because then I've got it, you know, and I probably don't need too much to level up in attunement to get the second miracle. So like right here, you can see we have got two of them in a very closed environment. But seeing as it's such a closed environment, it means you can just deal with them one at a time, which is nice. Okay, let's just go ahead. Oh no, there's 3 of them. Fancy that. We do see quite a few of these guys. In fact, later on, we actually get put in a situation where we get completely surrounded by them all at once. And that's kind of shocking, but we do get a big reward for doing it. So there we go. So now we're here, and now we are back to that ladder, which was behind that illusionary wall. So now we can get back to the bonfire, and of course we can go back and talk to Patches the hyena, who knocked us into that hole in the first place. Like the complete bully he is. No one likes a bully. No one likes a troll. You see, that's a thing which it comes to, like, YouTube trolls and just internet trolls in general. It's like, no one really likes that, you know. It's kind of weird, but it's very self-gratifying, I suppose, you know. It's fun, makes you feel good. It's part of the internet.
I did you wrong, but I didn't mean it. These temptations, they can, well, overcome me. You know what I mean, don't you? Please, forgive me. You and me, we're jolly undead outcasts, aren't we?
Right, so do we forgive Patches the hyena? Now, in all my playthroughs, I have always just killed him, because, you know, what a bully. No one likes that guy. But I heard earlier on that he actually becomes the best vendor, the best merchant in the game if you spare him. So in this case, I actually am going to spare him. However, I have no idea where he spawns for you to go and buy stuff from him. I don't know if he spawns over here or if he spawns back in Fireling Shrine. But I'll check at some point, of course, because if he really is the best merchant in the game, then it's worth sparing him, you know. And in the end, he didn't actually cause us any trouble, really.
You know what I mean, don't you?
Because down there, we actually did get some good stuff, you know what I'm saying? Okay, so let's go back and rest at the bonfire, and then we can carry on going down lower into the Tomb of the Giants. We actually do get some nastier enemies as we start to get lower, but it shouldn't be too much trouble, really, especially if you're following this lesson, if you're following this kind of tutorial. In a way, are these tutorials? I don't really know. But if you look over there, you can see the Demon Ruins. We obviously went there, and that's actually there. That is part of the game, you know. It's not just like a fake backdrop. That actually is the Demon Ruins off in the distance. And actually, if you go down to Demon Ruins, you can see that spot right up there as well. Very cool indeed. I imagine there's lots of map mapping and stuff like that to help keep the game running, but hey, it's still there. What was I saying? But yeah, are these actually tutorials? I don't really know. I didn't really plan for them to be tutorials, but they just kind of naturally ended up that way, in a way. Okay, so if you look over there, right above our head, you can see a skeletal dog. These guys suck. They really do. They are far worse than the big skeletons. They are very, very powerful, and their attacks are very unpredictable. But they can fall off ledges and stuff like that fairly easily, which is fantastic. And you do get 1,500 souls for each one, so that's also not bad. Now, over here we have got some white light, a fog gate. But there is a black knight on the other side of it. Oh, you can hear him. He's coming right now. He's just kind of waiting on the other side of the fog gate. I believe he is armed with a black knight halberd, I want to say. there he is. Okay, here he comes. Okay, so Black Knights at this point, you can deal with these guys at this point. In fact, Black Knights are actually a nice thing at this stage of the game, because they typically drop something quite good, like a rare upgrade item, or you can possibly, if you're lucky, or you've got the actual stats for the item discovery, they can drop like their shields, they can drop their weapons, they can drop their armor, and it's all really good stuff. So, pretty darn awesome if you can go ahead and dispatch these guys. But same as any other Black Knight, you know, they can be parried very easily, and they can be backstabbed very easily. And I got hit with the halberd there because I accidentally kicked him rather than hit him. It's so stupid that the kick button is assigned to the same button which is your regular attack. It really is dumb. Okay, so there we go. We've got the white Titanite chunk there. That is absolutely fantastic. Again, I don't really think I'll need to use that, but we've got it. We've got it. It's something we can use. Maybe we can sell it, or we can just kind of go ahead and convert it into other things using Framt. Did you see that attack right there? That is the attack that they do that you really need to watch out for. Oh no! Oh man, I forgot that happened. Yeah, he just completely knocked me off the ledge. But yeah, did you see that attack, that kind of lunge attack he did, where he jumped forward and pretty much lands on you and rolls around like a crazy puppy dog he is? That's the one you really want to watch out for. That's the one that will maybe take like 3/4 of your life in one attack, especially if it chains into other attacks. So you really want to watch out for that. Okay, so right now it looks like I am going ahead and using all of my humanity. I'm using 4 humanity, so I can go ahead and kindle this bonfire up to level 3, is it 4? Something like that. So I can get 20 Estus flasks. And this is something which actually annoys me about Dark Souls in a way, because unless someone told you that this is what you do in order to get more Estus flasks, you'd never know. You really wouldn't know. Like, I believe at one point, very early on at the start of the game, there's like a single line of text which says, it says something like, use humanity to kindle the bonfire, but it doesn't actually tell you what kindling the bonfire does. You know, it's very weird in that sense. Some people have stated that maybe it's something to do with just for translation of the game. You know, like maybe if you were playing this and you were Japanese and playing it in Japanese, it kind of explained it a bit better. But for the Western audiences, it didn't so much, but I don't know if I believe that. I honestly think they were just deliberately convoluted with their terms in an attempt to make mystery and make it darker, but really you're just making it harder to understand. You know what I'm saying? It's not very welcoming. Okay, so here we have got the dog again. These guys do go down pretty easily if you two-hand a powerful weapon such as this sword, but as I said, they are very powerful. But if you're quick enough, you can just get them with the 2 swipes there. I literally just caught his nozzle right there, so I was able to dispatch him. And obviously the Black Knight doesn't come back, which is nice. So we only need to deal with the one that knocked us off the ledge before. Okay, so if we look over there, our souls are right over there, and they're right in front of the dog. And there is also an archer shooting at us. So what we want to do, we want to pull this guy towards us, preferably. Apparently I ignored the smart advice and just dispatched him straight away. In an ideal scenario, you'd want to pull him towards you, away from the archer, so you wouldn't have to be dodging arrows while fighting him. Okay, we've got another one over here, and I believe it looks like I'm doing the exact same thing. That's the attack you want to watch out for, but it does leave them open, so you can go ahead and kill them if you dodge that kind of swipe attack they have, which is very helpful. Okay, here's the archer that was causing us trouble, and there's his curb stomp right there. It's actually not too bad, but it does take you off guard. There we go, and finish him off. Okay, and looks like he is guarding an item. What have we got over there? Soul of a Brave Warrior worth 5,000 souls. That is not bad indeed. All perfect for leveling up, of course. There is an item dead ahead. I believe I actually do find a way to go ahead and get that item. I don't remember what it is, but I do believe we go and get that item, so that's no trouble. And if you look over down this ledge, I believe you actually can drop down here. I believe you can drop down here anyway. So there is another way to go. But I believe I actually go ahead and use a prism stone here. Indeed I do. This is what prism stones are actually designed to do, not the stupid kind of crystal cave thing. But listen. When it hit the ground, it did not make a scream noise, which means it is a survivable fall. So that's fantastic. Doesn't mean you'll get out intact, but it means it's a survivable fall. So that's fantastic. Okay, so over here we have got an item we really, really want. It is a ring. But as soon as we try to grab this item, we get surrounded by those totem skeletons. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to dispatch these guys quickly. I believe there are 5 of them. Yes, indeed there are. And if you just ran in and grabbed that ring immediately, these guys would really take you off guard. But we definitely want it for this ring. It's a very easy ring to miss, but it's definitely one you want to go and get. It is fantastic. Go ahead and slice him up, and now we just got the final do-dry there. And he still got me. Okay, so now let's grab this ring. I never know how to pronounce this. The covetous silver serpent ring. And if you remember, we also have a gold covetous silver serpent. No, a gold covetous serpent ring. And what this ring does, it gives you extra souls for every enemy you kill. Brilliant, right? Brilliant. And I believe it's a percentage. I want to say it's something like 10% extra souls. However, if you remember, we also have the helmet, which is called the symbol of Aravis. And that is, of course, the helmet which looks like a mimic head. And I think that also, well, in fact, I know this also gives you like an extra 10% souls every time you kill an enemy. But they stack together. So if you wear that ring and you wear that helmet, you get an extra 20% souls for every enemy you kill. And that doesn't sound like much, but think about it. If you're about to kill a boss, he gives you 100,000 souls when you beat him. You pop on that helmet when he's got a tiny sliver of health left, and you're wearing that ring, you'll get 120,000 souls. And that's actually pretty significant, so it is worth remembering that. It's a perfect technique for farming souls, and it is fantastic. Okay, so we've got this skeleton over here. I actually pop him right in the nose to see if he's stupid enough to roll into the ledge below me, but he does not. He actually goes around, and we meet him again in a minute. Okay, so if we go ahead and go down this way, I'm currently trying to look for the way to get back, and I completely forget how to get back. There is a path over there, and I believe you just basically drop down here in order to get back. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and use a prism stone again. It did not make a screaming noise, so it is a survivable fall directly below me, which is fantastic. But here comes the skeleton we alerted earlier. He ran all that way for no reason. I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. Okay, so let's go ahead and double check that fall again. It did not scream, it just made a kind of breaking noise. So we can descend down here. But if you look directly below us, there is a skeletal dog directly below us. So get the jumping strike, kill him easily. But there's 3 of them in total, so very bad indeed. And I don't remember if I die here. I might actually die here. I completely forget. Oh, I remember what happens now. Okay, so I run away to go ahead and heal up. Try to deal with this guy that's right in front of me. But unfortunately, very much unfortunately indeed, I believe another one comes up behind me and finishes me off. Yeah. So obviously if I didn't take that shotgun, I didn't drop down, I would have dealt with that one who comes up behind me already. But seeing as I did not go that way, I was completely unaware that there was another one behind me. So let's just go back and do this again. So fantastic stuff indeed, Aruni. Alright, so go back past Patches the hyena. I've just heard he is the best vendor in the game, but I've never actually, as I said, I've never actually bought anything from him. So that there was only one of his swipes in that attack, and I believe he does like 5 swipes. And look at that damage it did. That can kill you very, very easily. But let's go ahead and pop a heal miracle. No trouble for us indeed. And I'll just kind of work our way back. This is an annoying part of the catacombs actually, because there is another bonfire ahead, but if you don't find that, you spawn right back where we started, and you've got to walk a really long way to get back to Gravelord Nito. A really long way, in fact. So, very big problem right there. But anyways, let's just deal with these skeletons one at a time. Alright, that's one right there. In fact, I don't think I bother with the other skeleton. No, I don't. You only need to deal with that one who is directly to the left, and then you can just walk by. In fact, I believe you can just go ahead and dispatch this skeleton also. There we go, so now they're both dead and we don't have to worry about them, which is fantastic. I swear I go ahead and get that item. I really do swear I go ahead and go and get that. I'm actually really enjoying this. You know, I'm just chilling out, playing Dark Souls or watching Dark Souls. It's great fun, really. Although, just before I started, I spilled coffee all over my shirt. All over my lovely Adam West Batman shirt. Oh, man. Bless your soul, dude. So, yeah. Currently covered in coffee right now. I'll change my shirt when I finish this video. And now, we have just picked up the item which we saw, and it is the effigy shield. This shield actually isn't that great a shield, but it's quite interesting at the same time. Because if we go ahead and find the effigy shield and look at its stats, we can't even use it with our current stats. I believe we need intelligence. I believe it scales with intelligence. But if you look at the shield, it was actually designed by a fan of Demon Souls as part of a competition. And the guys in the game loved it so much that they actually put it in the game. You know, the people who made the game, as part of the prize of the competition, put that design on a shield and put it in the game. But look, if you look here, blocks 90% of physical, 40% of magic, 70% of fire, 90% of lightning. Pretty good lightning, but you need 15 intelligence to use it, which is a very unusual stat for a shield, really. You wouldn't really think that you would need intelligence to wield a shield. You know, normally it's strength, possibly endurance, but for some reason it requires intelligence. But hey, I'm not complaining. Who knows, maybe there's like some extra magical effect which that thing gives you that I'm not aware about. And if you look right down there, just past it, there is a bonfire directly below us. And as I said, I've always known about that bonfire, but I've never known how to actually get there. But we do it in this playthrough, so that is absolutely fantastic. Jumping strike, there we go. That was the one which came up behind us earlier and finished us off, I believe. Let's go ahead and kill that skeleton right there. Fantastic stuff. He now descends down into the ultimate skeletal ruins in the sky. Alright, I'm just currently looking for the way to find this bonfire, because as I said, I never found this bonfire before, but we do find it. I believe the way to find it, see this ramp right in front of me? I believe if you just go left at the bottom of this ramp, it takes you to that bonfire, which is fantastic. I don't think I'd do it right now. I believe I'd do it a bit later on, so that's fantastic. And we've got another item over there, but you can just hear the skeleton dogs. They sound terrible. They really do sound menacing. White Titanite chunk, okay, again, perfect for upgrading, but we don't really plan on using that, so to speak. There we go. This is the area which had the thrice dog, and it can be a bit of a trouble, but if you go ahead and use your bow and pull them towards you one at a time, that is definitely a smart thing to go ahead and do. Oh, look at you. Look at you, aren't you cute? Yeah, he's trying to get through my shield, but the shield does block him 100%, so that's no trouble. Come on, start hitting him, final. Get to his rear. Slicey dicey dice. Fantastic stuff right there. 1,800 souls. And I believe the extra, I think you get like an extra 300 if you're wearing the ring we're wearing right now. Okay, so let's pull the next one towards us. Again, you know, guys, it just makes sense. Pull the guys towards you. You know, don't fight on their terms, fight on your terms. Man, look at that arrow just sticking right out of his cornea. Well, I suppose he doesn't really have a cornea, does he? Go ahead and finish him off and heal up. Only got 2 more heal miracles left, actually. But to tell you the truth, that's actually okay, because these bad guys are pretty tough, and I believe there's only maybe 1 or 2 more bad guys before we actually get to the boss battle, or before we actually get out of this tough area where it's really dark anyway. There are some more enemies, but it's not pitch black, so it's actually much easier to deal with them. But if they jump off the ledge like that, I'm not complaining. Okay, as I said, I might have actually edited out the bit where I find the bonfire. But as I said, I believe if you just kind of keep going left directly in front of me, then you actually find the bonfire, no trouble. Because I actually do die when I get to Grave Lord Nito. But right now, I am not in human form, and there is an NPC invader up ahead. So when I died to Nito, I cut out the bit where I actually went back here, became human, so I could go to show the NPC invader. But you'll see the cut in a moment, it's literally just in a few seconds. Alrighty, so we got another item over there. What have we got right here? I completely forget. We have got Soul of a Brave Warrior worth 5,000 souls. Not bad indeed, not bad indeed. So, really, just in this one area alone, we have found enough soul items to level up maybe twice. So, that's not bad. Okay, so yeah. Right now, we have got a ladder going down. And I want to say we have passed the way to get to the bonfire, but okay. Apparently I want to destroy some of the skeletons down here. Now if you look down to our left... Oh no, I'm currently looking for the bonfire, aren't I? Nope, can't see it. Okay, so we have actually got to go ahead and descend down this ladder right here. Do I find the bonfire? No, I don't. I really don't, do I? I completely go past it. Okay, never mind. So, getting ready for the cuts. 3, 2, 1. 1.5. Boom, there is the cut. Okay, so now I'm currently in human form and in different armor. And now we get to see the NPC invader, which comes to get us. And the NPC invader, actually not that hard, really. Oh, what's his name? Dark Spirit Paladin Leroy Jenkins. Okay, so this guy, I want to say he's got some pyromancy. No, he's got some miracles, hasn't he? Okay. So you can go ahead and dispatch this guy by parrying him very, very easily. This guy is not hard at all. But he does have a nasty miracle. But the nasty miracle which he has is this one here, which can send you back flying. And if you stand in the wrong position, then he can knock you off the ledge pretty easily here. So you must be careful. But of course we can go ahead and parry him to death. No trouble at all. That guy is pretty easy. In fact, all the NPC invaders in the game are pretty easy. Alright, so we've got over 25,000 souls for beating that guy, which is pretty darn awesome, what can I say? He also dropped 2 humanity. He dropped his weapon, the Grant, which is the big kind of war club mace thing. And of course he dropped his shield called the Sanctus. Now, the Sanctus is a very interesting shield. It's not a very good shield. It blocks 95% of physical, which is okay. Magic 40, fire 70. It's not that bad, I suppose. Lightning 50, stability 51. But the interesting thing about this shield is that it slowly heals you over time. Very, very slowly we are talking though. If you are nearly dead, you would probably have to stay still with this shield in a safe spot for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, something like that, in order for it to heal you up. And over here, we got a Twinkling Lizard. Go ahead and slash him. Give him a big slash right there. And we have got Twinkling Titanite and Green Titanite Shards for getting that guy. Okay, so let's go ahead and descend into this lower area. We are getting very near the boss, Grave Lord Nito. But some more of these skeletal totem things start to appear. So they cause a bit of trouble, but they do drop white Titanite chunks. I believe you can farm those for white Titanite chunks if you need them. Okay, but right dead ahead, there is a skeletal archer, and there is a skeletal swordman right next to him. But a couple more of these guys appear, one in front of you and one behind you. Go ahead and deal with them both before dealing with the archer. You don't want to get surrounded by those guys. Alright, there's one right in front. And this guy always annoys me, because you want to get that guy who just sunk into the ground, but you also want to get to the archer. So I'm just kind of waiting around a bit, see if he spawns again. And apparently he spawns behind me. Okay, so right now, roll through. You need to do that because of that guy who has the sword, of course. So go ahead, dispatch the guy with the sword. I don't think he can actually come into that little tunnel I was just in. So just take your time a little bit, be safe, or just run past them. Now this section is interesting. If you look over here, we have got pinwheels. 5 pinwheels, and they're exactly the same amount of health as the original pinwheel boss, i.e. practically none, so they're very easy to kill. But also, down in the water, some demon skeletal babies appear. And this is a brilliant area in the game, because those skeleton babies, which infinitely respawn, infinitely by the way, they actually drop humanity. So you can come down here and farm humanity for all time. It's a fantastic spot. But if we go through this white light here, we now get back to the boss battle with Grave Lord Nito. So, gonna be pretty exciting stuff, I'm sure you'll agree. So now I'm just currently going through my weapons to get ready. Go ahead and grab my talisman so I can go ahead and heal myself up. And let's get ready. Of course, once we are healed up, the way to get to Nito is pretty obvious, of course. That big old hole in front of us. Now, you pretty much always take damage when you go down this hole, so get ready to heal the second the boss battle starts. But here we go. Grave Lord Nito, the final lord of the land that we have got to slay before we take on the DLC. Then we go and take on the final boss battle. If we weren't doing the DLC, then after we beat this guy, we can go and kill the final boss. But of course, we're going to be doing the DLC. Man, look at him. It's so cool. Such a really clever idea for a design. You know, because it's easy to say, I want a skeleton monster. But to make a skeleton monster made out of skeletons that still looks like he's got some kind of human form, that's pretty cool. Alrighty, so here we go. Grave Lord Nito. Heal up as soon as you land, of course. And now, Grave Lord Nito is interesting because he has an army of skeletons, as you can see right there. And these guys infinitely respawn, unless maybe you have got a divine weapon, which I've stated before. And right at the back of the arena are maybe 3 or 4 giant skeleton bosses. And if you go near them, they will attack you also. But if you stay near the front of the arena, then they won't get you. But of course, Grave Lord Nito, he does have some ranged attacks. He's got the miracles. So right now, I've just basically got to be careful. I've got to try to get away from those skeletons and heal myself up. But an interesting thing about Nito is that all of his attacks also kill his skeleton minions. They are not invincible to his attacks. So therefore, if you get near him, his skeleton buddies will follow him. and then he will also deal damage as well. But when he crouches down like that, run. Run, 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 run. Look at that splash damage attack. That does a lot of damage to you. It can be blocked to a degree, but it does a lot of damage. But it does kill all of the skeletons that are around him as well. So really, he helps you out a little bit by doing that attack. But apart from just kind of dodging his skeleton minions, the only tactic here is just to go all out and hammer away at him. You know, that is something which kind of annoys me about the boss of the land. You know, when you got like the Lost Witch of Isleth, you got Seafa Scalus, and the other one. The only way to deal with them, the Four Kings, the only way to deal with them is just to run straight up to them and just hammer away with the most powerful weapon you have. Oh man, that's powerful. But at least for the other bosses, you know, there are tactics and certain weapons and items and stuff you could use that would give you an edge. But no, not with these ones. Just raw damage is the way to deal with all the Lords of the Land. Okay, so really the entire point of the boss battle is just to get close when you can, deal damage when you can, and then run whenever he's doing his big area of effect attack, when he crouches down and waits there for a little bit. You see him kind of charging it up. See right there, he's crouched down, he's charging up. So now we got to run, but the skeleton buddies are causing a lot of trouble for me. So you see, blocking it does block half of it. And also, I believe it does poison and bleed damage to you. Although the bleed might have come from the skeletons. But I know his miracle actually does do poison damage to you. So right now we are wearing the kind of gold hemmed armor, which does have, I think it's 94% poison resistance. So that helps out a lot. So yeah, just go in, wail away at him, let him kill his own guys. And now we're going to do something interesting. I am going to do the technique. Oh yeah, do you remember I said I died and I cut it out of the edit? I'm actually going to do the technique to get the extra souls. I am wearing the Covetous Silver Serpent Ring, which gets me 10% extra souls, I think. And I'm also going to try to get safe and pop on the Symbol of Arathis helmet. So that when I wear both of these helmets together and with the ring, I get maybe an extra 20% souls for killing Nito. So here we go, the helmet is on, the ring is on. Slash at him, just missed. Finish him off, there we go. That is Grave Lord Nito defeated. And that is all of the Lords of the Land defeated, of course, and his skeleton buddies die with him. Lord Soul acquired. Okay, so how many souls do I get for wearing that ring and wearing the helmet? Keep them both on until the souls appear. We got 86,400 souls. I believe you typically only get 80,000 souls. We've got an extra 6,400 souls for wearing that helmet and that ring. So that's brilliant. Okay, so that is all of the Lords of the Land defeated. As I said, right now, we could just go and take on the final boss of the game. We really could. But there are 2 DLCs which we need to do, of course. One of which we could probably do in one video if we're quick. Maybe 2, but 2 would be kind of pushing it, I think. And then there is one, which will probably take like 4 or 5 videos. So, that's pretty darn exciting stuff. Right, let's rest of this bonfire and level up. We've got 160,000 souls currently, which is pretty darn awesome. Puts them into vitality, endurance, and strength. And as I said, later on, I think I'll see how much attunement I need to get that replenishment miracle going. Probably won't need to use a miracle, but hey, why not, you know. Okay, so let's walk back to Firelink Shrine, because that's where we'll need to be for the start of the next video. Oh man, all the Lords of the Land are defeated. You know, like, this is a huge part of the game. Could just go and take on the final boss if we wanted to, but no, we are going to do all the DLC as well. So guys, thank you very much for watching this somewhat different episode of the Dark Souls Let's Play. As I said, normally I do them live, as I'm sure you guys are aware, but since I had so many technical issues, I basically had to go ahead and do this in post. And I mean, literally, things were breaking. I had to use screwdrivers and stuff to fix things. It wasn't like downloading some drivers and stuff like that. So everything is fixed now, by the way. I will just say that everything now is completely back to normal. And I'll see you next time. Remember to check out all the cool Patreon people in the description below. Remember to go check out my fantastic video learning course, the YouTube Video Gaming Guide. It's been doing pretty well. A lot of you guys have bought it and given it high praise, telling you everything you need to learn about how to produce YouTube videos. So guys, thank you very much for watching. The YouTube Gaming Video Guide is available now. Use this learning resource to learn all about video editing, video recording, 3D modeling, visual effects composition, film and video history, and everything else you need to get started creating YouTube videos. There is currently a 90% discount coupon in the description of this video, so grab your copy of the guide right now.